words and the great interest towards the United Nations World Water Development Report. The question is very relevant, just like you explained. There is an intimate link between water and energy and vice versa. We need energy to be able to transfer water, to be able to extract groundwater resources. And when we look at the other side of the medallion, we need water to be able to run thermal power plants. We need water to be able to cool down electricity generating systems, to be able to cool down some of the mechanisms in industry. In fact, access to energy, access to electricity is considered a very critical aspect to be able to meet the human rights. In a region, in an area where there is no access to energy, electricity, or very limited access to electricity, of course, we cannot expect a sustainable development, sustainable growth to take place. And I'm not only talking about industries, I'm talking about the basic necessities such as kids being able to go to school, kids being able to access to modern facilities such as searching for a keyword on internet. These are the things that we all take for granted in areas where there is access to energy and electricity, but just like you said, those which are not connected to the grid, or where the grid, energy grid is not functioning properly, have very big difficulties in even assuring the simplest of the needs. From the perspective of the United Nations, different agencies, as I mentioned, this report is a product, a common product of the UN Water family, which brings over 70 UN agencies and entities together. And some of those agencies, they do not only work on water supply and sanitation related issues, but they also look at the energy perspective. For example, the UN Industrial Development Organization, UNIDO, their work is relevant to both water supply and sanitation, as well as energy. Energy for people, energy for ensuring the well-being of the population, as well as energy to make sure that industries can perform as expected. The question, it sounds simple, but in reality, it's a complicated matter, because for communities which are far away from the national grids, connecting them to the electricity grid might be very expensive. And unfortunately, in the 21st century, money is the central issue before addressing any kind of problem. But what is possible, what is doable is renewable energies. For example, using solar power, using wind-generated electricity to be able to meet at least basic energy and electricity needs of those people living in high mountainous areas. As UNESCO, we do not do much work on energy, but as I mentioned, our partners in UN Water, for example, UNIDO, they do effective work to ensure that people have better access to energy. This is, as I mentioned, is a necessity to ensure the basic human rights. Thank you, Vera.
Спасибо большое, Эйджин. И есть еще один вопрос, направленный в сторону организации.